Hey guys, hello. We are going to be making I'm going to show you two different ways you can make a t-shirt headband. So you can kind of watch both and see which one you want to make. You can make both of them. You might not have enough fabric on the t-shirt to make both of them, so you might need two t-shirts if you want to make both designs. But I'm going to show you one that's just kind of like one twist knot, and then I'll do another one that is more of like a sailor knot, and it requires a little bit more work, but not too bad. So for the first one, all you need is a pair of scissors. For the second one, you will need scissors and a hot glue gun. Okay, so for the first one, all you're gonna do is you're gonna have your t-shirt lying completely flat, just like this. Okay. Depending on what you want your headbands to look like, it might be best to use a t-shirt that has like stripes on it or polka dots or whatever, because then it also gives you a design on the headband itself. I'm just using a plain white t-shirt today, but you could use whatever t-shirts you like. So once you have this laying flat, depending on where you want to cut, where you want the design to be of your headband, you are going to make a cut about 6 inches wide. You're just going to cut straight across, right on the bottom. So you want a pretty wide strip of fabric. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be a big deal if you cut it like 5 inches or whatever. It just depends. So the wider you cut it, the wider your headband's going to be. Okay. Once you have that, you're going to take this and you're also going to cut the hem of the shirt off. So the hem is that bottom piece that holds that shirt together. This right here, you're going to cut that off as well. The nice thing about this is if you have some cuts that aren't exactly the best, so they're not the straightest or whatever, it's not a big deal. You can pretty easily hide them with this craft. So I'm just okay. So you should have one strip that's about this big. And then once you have that, you are just going to take it and you're going to stretch. Okay, you're just going to kind of pull it, finagle it, stretch it as far as your t-shirt will kind of let you go. You're going to see that the ends are starting to curve in. That's okay. Just going to stretch it. Give it a little pull. Okay. And this is kind of it for this one. This is the super easy one to make. So this is one that's like, if you have like a really pretty design of a t-shirt, you can just kind of cut the bottom of it off and turn this into a really quick headband really fast. So to turn it into the headband, you are just going to turn it into a figure 8. Pull them towards each other. And then you have that turban knot on the top. Figure 8, pull them towards each other. Now I use a really small shirt, so this is not going to fit my head. This is going to fit a kid size head. This is not going to fit my head, so I'm not even going to try it. But this is a really simple one to make, to just give you that like little knot on top of your head. Okay. Another one, and this is a little bit more work. You're going to lay your shirt flat, and you are going to cut 1 to 1.5 inch strips, and you're going to cut 8 of them. They don't have to be exact. You don't have to use a measuring tape to measure it out. Just kind of take a guess. strips. You're going to need 8 of them. So right now I have 2. You're going to need 8. Another one where like your straight lines don't matter. If you don't have them super straight, it's not a big deal because we're actually going to pull them so that they kind of curl in like this other one did. And then it'll work out. You can also do this with 6 strips. So if you're running out of fabric, you can cut 6 and it's fine. I'm just going to cut 8 because it makes it into a thicker headband, but you can also just cut 6. The important piece of it is that you need an even number. So I'm at 5. These will look really nice with like old tie-dye t-shirts or like stripes, anything with the design. Mine's just going to be kind of plain white with the occasional blue. 1, 2, 3, 7. And 8. And then just set your t-shirt aside. You will need to cut a little bit of a patch later, but for now, once you have your 8 strips cut, you're kind of good to go with that. Once you have your 8 strips cut, you're just going to kind of line them all up and grab them all. Put them all in your hand. Okay, so once you have all 8 strips cut, you're just going to put them on your hand, and you are going to take one end and cut straight across so that you have extra long pieces. So you're just going to cut them in the same line on the loop. And then you're just going to tug. And you want to stretch these out as long as your shirt will let you. So when you have that loop with all of the pieces on your hand, make that straight cut, and then you're just going to pull. Okay, so you should have some pretty decently long pieces, especially depending on the size of the shirt you're using. You can always cut it down. It's better to use a bigger shirt. You can always cut the fabric pieces down. Okay. So you should have some, and you'll notice that your shirt is going to start curling. That's okay. We want that to look like that. So you're just going to keep on tugging it. Okay. All right. And then you're just going to lay your pieces out. And you're going to separate them into 2 equal groups of 4 or 2 equal groups of 3 if you decided to cut 6. So you're just going to set them into 2 separate groups. Make sure they're all lined up. Okay. All right. So you have your two separate groups. Your first group, I'm going to try to do this in this spot of the screen you guys can see. You're going to take your loops and you're going to cross it over like this. Okay. That's the first step. Then you're going to take your second group and right on top of it, you're going to make a U shape. So you should have it looking like that. Okay. On the right side of your ribbon, I don't know if this is showing up as a reflection for you. I hope it's not, because then it's going to be confusing. But if it is showing up as a reflection, you're looking at the right side of your ribbon. You should have a piece that's underneath the U. You're going to take that and pull it over the U on the right side of your ribbon. Okay. You're going to take the left side of your U and you're going to tuck it underneath the ribbon. And then you're going to take the right side of your U. This is reflected, so this is going to be confusing. And you're going to put it over the piece that you tucked under the ribbon and out the bottom of the top of the loop. So you should have something that kind of looks like a crazy pretzel. Okay, and once you have that all, you're just going to tug, pull, tug. Uh-oh. I must have mixed something up. Ah, all right. Sorry, guys. I mixed something up. I mixed a piece of it up. Bear with me. So we got the loop. We got the U. Over top the U, the right side of the ribbon. I think this actually goes over top. Over top and under. There we go. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. So I'm sorry guys, I just reversed something in my head. All right, so starting over. You have your first group, you have your ribbon. One crossed over the other. Your second group, making a U over top of the ribbon. Okay. The right side of your ribbon, which I think this is reverse for you, taking that and putting it over top the U. The left side of your U is going to go over the ribbon and out the other side. And the right side of your U is going to go over the center and out the other side. And then you're just going to pull all pieces equally. So that you have a knot on the inside. Which piece is not pulling nicely? Okay. So you have a simple knot on the top. Okay. Once you have that simple knot done, you're gonna set these down like this with the, sorry, one of these pieces is not pulling tight enough and it doesn't look. Aha, it's on this side. Okay, so you should have like a knotted on this side. You're gonna put that part down so you just kind of see that flat fold. That side's gonna be the back of it. Okay. Once you have this all set and ready to go, you're just gonna lay it flat and you are gonna make sure to trim equally. So make sure all of your pieces are equally trimmed. Then what you're going to do is you are going to take a piece of your t-shirt. Oops. Hold on. A piece of your t-shirt, and you're just going to cut a rectangle strip. So best to like maybe cut it off of a sleeve. You want to cut it relatively thick. Okay. And this is going to be the piece that we're going to connect all of our headband ends to. So you just want a relatively thick piece of fabric. And you're just going to lay it flat. And from there, you are going to take one end. I'm going to cut these equally. And you are going to hot glue all of the pieces onto the square center. You're going to use a decent amount of hot glue. Set it down and press your pieces into the hot glue. Be careful of your fingers, please. Just make sure that each of the pieces are glued down. If you want to glue them all separately, it's not a bad idea. Okay. You just want to make sure each of those pieces are glued to that square piece of fabric, square or rectangle piece. Okay. Then once you have that glued down, you are going to take the other end and you're going to kind of loop it so that you have this part up, and you're going to do the same thing and you're going to glue the other end. Let's turn it this way actually. You have it laying flat, you're going to pick it up, loop it over, and you're going to glue those pieces down just like that. So I'm just going to put a bunch of hot glue down. You can also do the same thing again where you are just gluing each piece individually. That's probably the safer way to do it. Okay, you're going to take these pieces, and you want to make sure that each of the ends is inside of the rectangle. You don't want any pieces hanging over. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pull the rectangle over. I'm actually going to trim these a little shorter because I don't need that much. And you're just going to hot glue those down. So you're just going to kind of pull all of these pieces together, roll it up a little bit if you have to. You're just going to kind of roll them around, and hot glue that piece shut. Okay, so then you have a headband. This is the back. This is like the part that goes underneath your head. And then the knot is the one that goes on top of your head. Okay, don't stick this in your hair until it's completely dry. You will end up with hot glue in your hair. You don't want that. Okay. And then once it's completely dry, you can do this. I would consider measuring this because I think I cut mine too long. All right. Yeah, definitely measure this on your head before you do it. I forgot that part. It's been a day. Yeah, trim this down a little bit. And try that part again. So first, if it's too big here, it's been a day, everybody. It's been a day. All right. Trim it down a little bit. So this will fit. This will fit better. I might trim it a little bit more. What you want to happen is for both ends, once they're wrapped around your head, to just touch. Because if they're just touching, that means that once you add that extra fabric piece on in the center. So I'll show this part again. So I didn't measure my head. And that would be helpful. Get that piece of fabric. I'm actually using the bottom of the sleeve. I'm going to glue all the pieces down. Flip that part over again and do the same thing. Glue all the other side down while having this flipped up like this. Okay. Once those are all glued down, you're just going to take your band, wrap it around, and hot glue it shut. And then just make sure that it's completely dry before you stick it in your hair. Okay. Well, this will be better. All right. Really helps to measure your hair. There we go. Oops. Much better. You can spread these out if you want. If you notice that it's kind of slipping, you can always pop it into the washing machine on cold water. Don't put it in the dryer because there's hot glue. Just throw it in your hair. If you notice that it's still slipping, you can always stick like a bobby pin in there to hold it down. You can also just continue to kind of trim it down a little bit. This is actually the perfect size. It's not too big. And that's it. That's a headband from an old t-shirt. This would be better if you had like a fun, colorful, funky shirt. Mine is just plain white, so I guess it'll match a lot of things. But at the same time, it's also not funky and colorful like I'm sure that you guys are using for cool t-shirts. But it makes a cool headband. It's cute. It's functional. I think I also had like a weird, just knocking my headphones out. There we go. You can, okay, all good. Fun, functional, recycling an old t-shirt. If you want to, you can also wear it like this with your hair down. So let's see if I can make this work. This looks better. Wear it like this as well. It's fun. Okay. The turban one, this is not going to fit my head, so I'm not even going to try. You can also do the same way. You could wear it like in a ponytail on top of your head, or you could also just wear it like over top of your hair like this. And either looks great. Okay. There are a couple other knots that you could do. There are tons of different videos of like different knots. And if you know how to sew, there's many different things that you could do with old t-shirts to make headbands. I know that, you know, not many of you have sewing machines to make these headbands, so I wanted to come up with a no-sew one. You can also, if you don't want to do the back of this like this, you can also tie them together one by one. So take like one side from one side and tie a small knot and then wrap this piece of fabric around like that again. Either works fine. You can also just take them all and tie a knot, especially if you're not wearing it over your head. You're not going to see a giant knot in the back. So that works as well. And then if you like this side versus the knot, you can always just flip it inside out and throw it on. I'm just like making this like a fashion show at this point, showing you all the ways you can wear your headband. Back to school fashion. All right, guys. We will be back tomorrow. We are going to be making a windsock for some outdoor decorations. So there is that at 4 o'clock tomorrow, and then there will also be a posted 6 p.m. Painting a flower painting with an old soda bottle, a 16-ounce or a 2-liter bottle. That will be posted for 6 o'clock tomorrow. That's a bonus craft. If you want to watch that and learn how to do that as well. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in and have a great night.